Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to come up with that razor blade I told you about, and we're going to make sure that everything on the window is nice and clean. Okay, now if there was any kind of paint flakes or anything like that on there, that razor blade gets it off, and now we're going to clean the window itself. Now there's a very slight lip on the window, right on the ledge, right up in here. Make sure you clean that ledge as well, because you don't want to get any dirt on that new film when you put it on the window. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do now is we're going to measure the length of the window itself at its widest point. And we got about 62 inches. So we're going to add an inch on either side, at least an inch on either side, so that it overlaps on the sides before we put it back on. So we know we're going to measure the length and the height, and then we're going to go over to the table and we're going to cut the film with the scissors. So all right, let me get these measurements and we're going to go over and we'll cut that filament. Okay, so now we're going to measure our 62 is exactly, so we're going to make this actually 64 so we don't have it being too short. Now what we need to do is we need to separate right over here the filament from the paper on the back of it. So we're going to take a piece of tape like this and like this. We're just going to put this here so it doesn't roll up by accident. We're going to take one piece of tape and just stick it on the end, just like that. And I'm going to stick another piece of tape on the other side, just like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to peel the paper off of the back of it. And now we have the two of them separated like this. We're just going to, the sticky part is the part that you're going to be using. Let's turn you in a little bit here. The sticky part here is the part that you're going to be using, and this is the part that we're going to be throwing away. So now what we're going to do is we have that pulled apart like this. We're not going to go any further. We're just going to stop right here. We're going to go in the front. We're going to spray the window, and then we're going to carry this over there. So let's go back out front, but that's how you separate the two pieces from each other. Tape on one side, tape on the other side, and just pull it apart. All right, let's go back in the front and continue there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to spray everything up really well up here where we're going to put the film back on the window. And we're going to use quite a bit because it's very sunny, as you can see. Okay. Now we're going to spray the back of the film itself. Okay, so now after you have the film on the window and it's fairly close to where you want to be, you want to trim off all of the excess material that's on there, and you want to make sure you use a very, very sharp razor blade. Utility knife or a scissor is not going to work in this case. You want to use a very sharp razor blade to trim it down. Okay, now we have it cut just a little bit. Okay, now we're going to squeegee the window to get all of the small little air bubbles out from underneath the material itself. And you want to work the bubbles from the center to the end of to where the material has been trimmed off. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to squeegee the window down as well. Now in this case we're going to use for the final process of getting out all of the air bubbles, we're going to use the plastic tool that came in the kit with the liquid and the film. Okay, now that we have the material, all the bubbles are out from underneath it. Now we can do our final cut to trim it to the exact length that we need. Again, use a real sharp razor blade because you don't want to catch it and wind up ripping the film that you just put on. Okay, and that's the finished product. Okay, so you can see that's all done now. It is a little bit awkward working with such a long piece, 32 inches. It's a fairly long piece, and this one is actually a little higher than most of the time on the window. Like if you were doing just the window, for instance, it would be right in front of you. But working up on a ladder, it's a little bit tighter. So if you had an assistant, it probably would be a good idea to have somebody hold the other end of it while you went up there and you smoothed out the one side. If by chance it dries out underneath, when you have that film on the window, just peel the film back, spray it down again with that soapy solution, put it back on, and then you can squeegee everything out to the ends, trim it, and you're all set. All right, as always, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.